Hey, Slàinté, y'all. Welcome to Scotch on the Bayou Tuesday night. Here, I'm Leanne, and I'm hot. I mean, it's hot, like stupid hot here in South Louisiana. Yes, we are typically warm, and we're basically a tropical, not even subtropical. I would pretty much say we're a tropical climate most of the time. We get a little chilly in the winter time, but right now it's just terribly unpleasant. And talking to the tune of today 97. Let's see, 8 o'clock at night, and it is still 94, I think. Yeah, 94 degrees. So today's heat index was 113. And that's considering the humidity that we have down here. Humidity, that's what this hair looks like. There's no amount of hair product that is going to tame these curls in all of this humidity and during the summer. So, that begs the question, is it just too hot for whiskey? Is it just too hot?
I don't see
So hang on, guys.
it showing that you're coming on in 14 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes.
There you go up.
I'm on mute. Now, can you hear me? Can you see me? Let me know. It's yay. Donner Pass says yay. I'm hoping that's a yay thumbs up. Everybody can hear, you can see. Let me see it. Yep, awesome. Great. Where was I before we hit a solar flare? We all working too hard, y'all. I swear. It's it's too hot. There's too much going on. But yeah, so yes, thanks, Rob. Thanks, Sugar Kitty. Yeah, we're good. Awesome. Hey Kevin, good to see you. Yeah, so it's been hot. And right now, let's just go and see, greet everyone and see who is here. Thanks again for the patience on that little start stop. No worries there. Um Robert is sipping some Glenmoe Nectar Dior. Ooh wee. while waiting for the show to start in Central Texas, where it is 200 degrees. Yes, but not too hot for whiskey. That's the question. Is it too hot for whiskey? Is it too hot for Scotch? Is Scotch only something you drink during cool weather? Which I think we all kind of know the answer to that. So we'll kind of kick that around tonight. And we'll also talk about some of those single malts that might lend themselves more to having being more generous or nicer or more chill in the glass than maybe some others that you might have or you might enjoy another time of the year and not when it is sweltering. And then we're going to talk about playing with our whiskey and maybe mixing some things up. And I've got some suggestions, and most of them are a little bit of a twist on some things you might already know about, but we're gonna give them the big Scotch one overs. So again, let's just say hey to everybody. Hey, Don or Pass is in. Yes, Texas heat. I was in Houston this past weekend for Jennifer's birthday. It was hot then. I'm going to go back in a couple of weeks for an outdoor concert because I'm nuts and I'm crazy about that. That's for sure. Hey, Whiskey Franco, I know it's warm out there in Colorado, I am sure, but yeah, clocking in at 95 degrees. Woof. But your humidity is a fraction of what it is here. It's still hot. And you're closer to the sun, literally, than we are, like a mile closer, for sure. Good seeing everybody. Hey, good morning, Andrew. Good to see you too. And yes, check your email. Pictures were sent tonight, so that tells you how my thing's going. Hey, Rob, great to see you. And let me know what you all are drinking. I've got a lighter spirit uh just for this summer that's I'm really happy with. Um, goodness gracious. But thanks again for the show situation. Sorry about that little hiccup. Hey, Kevin, great to see you. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about. um, yeah, and Sugar Kitty is in. Yay. Glen Cabin 10 for the summer. Super suggestion. Great minds think alike. I love that. I love that. So Rob is having some Aaron quarter cask. Lovely. Yum. Donner says in California, you've been blessed with ridiculously cool weather in June. But yeah, 100 for the weekend. Yeah, it's coming. It's coming, I am sure. Um, so Martin, the Whiskey Franco says, you tend to find that summer is when you gravitate towards bourbons, rye, and wheated whiskeys. Oddly enough, this is also the time of year that you enjoy more peated Scotch. That is interesting, because I guess you kind of think about some of our favorite scotches, especially like a sherry bomb or something like that. You may enjoy more in a cooler, crisper environment and weather. You start thinking about the holidays and things like that, and then you get these smoky, peaty whiskeys that are kind of cozy and bundled up and that kind of thing. So it's really interesting that you're thinking more about getting into some peated whiskeys at that point. Very interesting. Awesome. Hey, Martin, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Tater Dom, nice to see you. Welcome. Enjoy and let us know what you're drinking. Yeah. So when it comes to that, it's like, what is it really too hot to drink whiskey? And I don't believe so. I mean, it's hot. Don't get me wrong. And it may encourage some, I don't know, creativity and change of an environment. Our AC's cranked down. I got a fan above me. That is how the South exists because of air conditioning. So you can always sit in your house with the AC cranked down and not sweat while you're drinking your whiskey that way. Outdoor activities are a bit of a challenge. So the Bunnahabhain 12 campground that I did, if you go back and look at it, get a chuckle because I was so hot out. I think that's the one. I'm pretty sure it was the Boona 12, where I'm out at the dock, at the camp. It was September. I remember it was right before I was leaving to go meet everybody in Austin for the Bastards Ball. And I mean, I am blotting and I'm like, I am sweating so bad that I'm like, maybe it's too hot to drink whiskey. Maybe it's too hot to drink whiskey. Maybe I should dare I put an ice cube in this Glencairn? Well, I think one reason is my ice cubes are too big to go into this Glencairn. So that kind of keeps me from actually putting ice in one of them. But so what do y'all think about that? I mean, I have lots of bourbon friends that love to put a couple of ice cubes. My cousin Kyle loves his rye, loves his Basil Hayden, puts a couple of ice cubes in it, and he's chill and he's really enjoying it. We don't traditionally, as whiskey enthusiasts, we don't traditionally put our scotch on an ice cube. So let me know what you all think about that. Hey, Michael, good to see you. Thanks for being here. And you have the emoji that we all use, right? Of a whiskey glass that's got an ice cube in it. If ever there was a time for an ice cube in a glass of scotch, it might be right now because it's hot, friends. I don't want to hear that. It's 73 degrees in Washington. Are you kidding me with this? Would you like package that up and just shoot me some of that nice cool air? We won't see 73 till October. Maybe in the evenings. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, do you dare put ice on your whiskey? I just don't know that I can do it. If I'm outside, I might. I would rather put ice on my whiskey to do something else with it, which we're going to talk about a little later, and play with our whiskey that way. So, yeah. So I poured one of actually one of my current favorites right now is a compass box that really can be used in many different ways. And actually, I got a couple compass boxes we're going to talk about, but this particular one I think is a perfect summer whiskey, and to drink as a single malt without ice. Again, no judgment here. If you want to add ice, especially if you're outside, more power to you. Hey, Jim, Kim Reddick's popping in for just a little bit, and rewatch tomorrow. Thank you, friend. I appreciate that. We're all so busy in Europe in an area that is hopefully not near as hot as we are way down here. It's just ridiculous. And I did want to do the conversion for Andrew and my friend. So the 113 heat index today works out to be about 45 Celsius. So yeah, it's a little bit warm. So this is one of my faves at the moment, and that would be Compass Box Orchard House. This is summer in a bottle, y'all. It just really is. It's fresh, it's light. It's got it's light, but it's still 46 ABV. At least I think it is. Where my glasses at? Yeah. So it's 46, but it's fruity. It's light. It's the spirit's not heavy oily. It's got a lot of linkwood in it. It's got a lot of kind leash. So you get a lot of that lighter Highland malt in it. And man, what a lovely, just a lovely note on it. It's sweet, got honey, more of it's like an orchard I love the fact that it is orchard house because it truly does smell like an orchard. I mean, the blossoms part of that, fresh fruits. But it's light, you know. You look at Klein Leash's stills are pretty tall. You look at some of the taller stills, distilleries, and technically, by definition, because of the way physics works and everything, those are going to be lighter spirits. Um, when you think about what those might be that would lend themselves to a nice summer dram, those lighter spirits are perfect for that. And as opposed to maybe something that's coming off of a short squatty still that's going to be heavier and the oils are going to be more concentrated in it. Um, so that was some of my thinking and figuring out like what a quick short list for that would be. Sugar Kitty nailed it earlier on one. Glencaddam 10, another really light spirit, centered on fruits and a nice gentle sweetness without being too saccharine on that too. Yeah. So let me know what else you think. Hmm. Yeah. So Orchard House, yes, poured that gorgeous whiskey, 2% Kalila, exactly. It's just got a scooch in there, just enough to where you go, huh? I see that. I taste that. Absolutely, Donner, same way. Rob, we got to help you with that. If you can't find it, hit one of us up. We'll have to definitely get you some because it is. I mean, it's in a really reasonable price as well. It's super. So Sugar City also says Ben Rennis. So and also so Ben Rennis would be another suggestion. And I've had a few, but not too many of those. So I'm gonna have to go back and revisit that. Thank you. Awesome. Um, Donner is coming up with the Altmore 12 is the bomb for sugar dram, a summer dram. So tell me, Donner, like particularly what makes it? Is it because it's light? Is it fruity? Is it citrusy? I think that's another characteristic in a whiskey that would be paired great with summer. Is really more about what kind of characteristics or flavoring without flavored whiskey. We can talk about that later if you want. But what are those things that make it a summer whiskey for sure? Um, so very good point. It's not just the tall stills, but the lion arm is above horizontal. Yes, exactly. So not only tall stills, but that line arm comes up. Only the lightest spirits are coming up off of it, right? And if it's a descending line arm, you're going to get more of those heavier spirits. I just love the geeky stuff. Tannic, Annock, Dalyuan, absolutely. And that brings me to another one, and that would be Annock 12. That is another one of my faves. This is to me just this is one of my first camp drams that we did. Um, and it was around the bees that Mark kept at that time down at the camp. And because it's waxy, it's almost to me like when you would get the beeswax, like if someone, kept bees, as Mark did at one point, and you have like all that beeswax with the honey mixed in. And when you were kids, you would just kind of chew that like gum almost. But it's that lighter honey, little bits of vanilla. Again, just a lighter spirit. So great choice on that one too. Um, Oh, you meant Ben Rennis. Sure, Kitty. Thank you very much. The Ben Rennis was another component of this orchard house. Thank you for that. Yeah. Mm. Just very light, delicate. Not really delicate. That's not good. That's not a good description because it's a substantial taste, but it's not heavy, I guess is where I'm going for it. I think too, when you start looking at some of those staples on our bar, this is a good time to revisit those too, because, you know, the Glenfiddich 12s, even Glenlivet, if you have that, maybe even some of the rum casks. So maybe the Balvenie Caribbean cask. I know that Glenlivet Caribbean or their rum cask is pretty decent. I mean, it's not bad. I'll drink it. And then you look at Glenmo 10. I mean, it's just solid. So where you might have some sherry influence on some drams. I'm not so sure. You know, I'm thinking in my head it's more of your bourbon matured, just clean, bright, somewhat fresh tasting spirits for sure. Mm, very cool. So Michael says that he found a way to make the Kilchoman Machir Bay seem better. Okay. Took a swig of Grant's first and then a swig of Kilchoman and it makes it better. Oh, friend. I'm sorry that you didn't like that Machir Bay right out the gate. Um, yeah, yeah. Yeah, on that NOC 12, it just honeycomb, right? Just unbelievable. It's so good. So Rob talks about the Hazelburn 10 year is a good way to beat the heat. Interesting. So if I remember correctly, Hazelburn is the triple distilled, correct? Out of Springbank. So you have something like that. If it's gone through 3 distillations, you're getting the lighter and the lighter and the lighter spirit, right? Akatoshan is another one. They're American oak. I mean, it's good. It's light, fruity. So at that point, you could say quite a few of even the Irish whiskeys because of their triple distillation. There's going to be quite a few of those that would go in there. I don't know if Stacy's on tonight, but if she is, I know she will hit us up with some Irish suggestions as well. Yeah, you know, Glenfiddich 12, just easy. Sometimes in the summer, I don't think we have to be so analytical about our whiskey. You know, maybe it's okay just to have a dram. And when you have that dram, just to go ahead and put some ice on it and all that. Perfect. Thanks, babe. And my lovely assistant is coming in here with some fun stuff. Yeah, triple distilled, just like Irish whiskey. You know, but there are some, you know, like a Mortlock is like 2.5 or 2, I don't know, some strange number, but it's still pretty heavy, you know. So I think it's really interesting to see what else is out there. So Anok, I mean, these are y'all have nailed some of the ones that I came up for sure. Michael gets some apple juice notes on that Glenfiddich 12. Absolutely. You know, and it's at a price point that if you kind of wanted to make a cocktail with it, it's okay, you know, for sure. Let's say hello to this guy. Hey, Gregor, good to see you. Um, yes, hopefully everybody's drinking well so far that I've heard. That's good. So let me know what your favorite summer whiskey is. And do you dare put an ice cube on your whiskey? Yeah. This Orchard House is just solid. But I do think I'm going to have a little bit of this Anok 12 because it's been a minute since I've had some of that for sure. Definitely. So, um, you still get on that Orchard House. There is that little bit of Kalila as we talked about, but you kind of get that viscosity of waxiness from the Clean Leash. Just really can't run from that. It is what it is. So Gregor says that, excuse me, summer whiskey for him would manifest as a Manhattan or a highball. Is that cheating? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I'm going to use that as a segue. I'm going to use that as a complete and total segue into chatting about how we can play with our whiskey. I still want to know, are there any other just true single malts or even blends that you know, just like to drink as a whiskey? And then let me know what cocktails, what types of Scotch or other whiskeys for that matter, because I think it's great. I mean, um, Whiskey Franco was talking about this is the time to explore, you know, maybe you want to try a bourbon and something or a rye or the weeded whiskeys. I think fall more towards a palate for single malt lovers than personally I do for bourbon. I'm very aware of the sugar and the corniness, if you will, of bourbon. But a weeded whiskey, I think, tempers that sugar down a good little bit. So yeah. What other kind of things do you try to drink even in the summertime? I know a lot of folks are like, oh, if you go to the beach and you know there's margaritas and those are fun, but I just can't do a lot of sugar and drinks anymore. just just can't do it, and I seem to still gravitate to my whiskey, even though I'm glistening. And just so you know, women in the South, we don't sweat, we glisten sometimes heavily. Just saying. It's getting a little warm in here right now. Mm. Oh goodness. So Sims whiskey for you would be an ex bourbon only or a bourbon on rye on the ice. Okay. Hmm. Um yeah. I know you don't drink rye. All your Orchard House bottles were leaky and they went down too fast. Dude, this one I think is either my second or third, um, just because it's so good, and it's an unbelievable value. Just great value. So Rob's saying, you know, maybe not some ice, but definitely a little bit of water to kind of temper it out a little bit. Absolutely. You know, you got to, and that's the thing. No one should tell anybody else how to drink their whiskey. It can be highly suggested on certain ones, maybe, but you know, you should enjoy it as you want to. That is the correct way to drink your whiskey. Um, Goodness gracious, Sims equals summer. Your summer whiskey. I get it. Again, it's the heat. The solar flare about took me out today literally for about a minute and a half there. Um, so see there, embrace your inquisitiveness there, Michael. Always tempted to grab some wild turkey one-on-one when you're at the Walmart, but instead you grab the Scotch, you know, try it. Or you know, even if you don't want to commit to a whole bottle, I'm sure you got a buddy that's got it. And just you know, try to take it. For what I understand, that's a really good solid gram, you know, to be able to enjoy the 101. Um, so yeah, so let's talk about playing with our whiskey a bit. And so I'll do this. You know, so part of it was yes. Oh, it is so hot. Is it too hot for whiskey? And I don't think it is. I think it just gives us um it just gives us an excuse to play with our whiskey, you know. Scott, I love the way you think. It's way too hot, but you bought 3 bottles today. You'll have to tell us what you got, man. Oh, that sounds great. Um, yeah, just really enjoying that. So let's look at playing with our whiskey. And first up is basically I took some classic recipes and I put a Scotch spin to them. And I'm just listing some ingredients because I want you all to play with things. You don't necessarily have to, you know, go by a certain thing. I think it's a good rule of thumb of a 2 to 1 kind of ratio, 2 alcohol to 1 tasting. So, for example, instead of a Lynchburg lemonade here, we're going to have an Edinburgh lemonade. While in Edinburgh, it was pretty warm. I could have used a lemonade. I would have loved a lemonade like this. So here you have the artist blend. Now this is I'll pop that back up there real quick. But this is Great King Street was formerly is what this was called. And I still have a wee bit left here. But it's Great King Street is in Edinburgh. And this is Compass Box's shout out to you know, the idea of what Edinburgh is: rich, round, fruity, just a lovely blend in this Compass Box artist blend. So now it's called the artist blend, and it's non-peated. So this one is not peated. The Glasgow blend is peated. So looking at Compass Box, having some of that, triple sec for a little bit more sweetness on top. And then, you've got you've got your lemon juice, some simple syrup, and basically you're going to just kind of, shake the hell out of all of these. You're going to the ones that we're going to do. Basically, you're going to put your liquors together and your flavors. So in this sense, your lemon juice, simple syrup, and then just shake the hell out of it in a cocktail mixer. Put it over ice, and or strain it over ice, and then you can top it off with some fizz, and that might be just a tonic, kind of like this, or it could be, like a Sprite, lemon lime, whatever you got, some kind of soda to give that effervescent to it. That's going to really chill things off. Nice little lemon garnish, and you've got an adult lemonade, and you can channel your inner Scots person and dream of being back in Edinburgh. So again, it's just a way of kind of flipping some of these things we already know, but try to go ahead and put in a Scotch instead of, maybe, for example, the Lynchburg lemonade would have been Jack Daniels. So anyway, that one's a lot of fun. I like doing that one. Very much so. Rob thinks it sounds pretty good. Yeah, can't you just say on a really hot day, you got that effervescent, it's that lemon lime. Again, citrus is really something very summery, and it's cooling and uplifting and that kind of thing. So I think that one would be really good. So Michael says he's done blind tastes with high-end bourbon taking on bottom shelf Scotch, and you always seem to go with the Scotch more. And I think, and it may be just because that is your palate. And I mean, that I know it certainly is mine, because the flavor profile of bourbon isn't my thing, but it is great in certain cocktails. I mean, the old fashioned is beautiful for that. A rye is really good for that. You could still make an old fashioned with Scotch. And I would even say a smoky Scotch, like that Glasgow blend in an old fashioned, would be spectacular. Just don't muddle the fruit. For the love of God, don't muddle the fruit. We do not muddle down here in Louisiana. I have one friend, my friend Kristen, who I adore. And when we go somewhere, she's like, I'll have an old fashioned with bullet. How do you make it? And she'll just make sure that everybody that makes her cocktail makes it the way she wants it, as it should be. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Once you kind of get down there, yeah, I can understand. And that's okay. And you may come back around. You never know. It may be something, Donna, that you go, well, maybe I want to revisit some bourbon. That's okay. It's wonderful. And during the summer is a great time to do it, especially if you have it hanging around. You might as well use it and make a cocktail. That's for sure. So for something completely different, I love this. When you think about cooking or mixing things together, I like opposites and contrasting flavors, like a sweet and salty. Um, this one is more sweet and smoky. So I'm pretty stoked about this one. Sweet, smoky, and minty. And that would be the Islay Mint Julep. Well, I declare, down here in the South, we know our way around a mint julep. You don't have to be watching races of horses to drink a mint julep. The beauty about a mint julep is that it's boozy. It's really fresh with the green, with the macerated and muddled mint. So you get the coolness off of the mint, and all of that goes over crushed ice, and usually in a pewter or a silver tumbler. So even that is cold. So everything about a mint julep is cold. Now, it's sweet, it's cold, it's fresh and minty and cool. Now let's add some smoke. This I'm super excited to be, because I would love to know if anybody tries this out. Please let me know. Come back and put a comment whether or not you loved it or you hated it. But the idea of mixing Wee Beastie with simple syrup and crushed mint leaves, and just kind of macerating all that down and then putting that over crushed ice. You can add some other liquid. You can add some more water to that even. But mint juleps are meant to be very sweet. And I think, especially with the Wee Beastie smoke level, and it's a relatively lighter version, spirit-wise, I think, of Ardbeg. This one is, I think this one might be a stretch for some folks, but that's okay. That's what makes it so much fun. Yeah, lots of fun. This is really great. So, hey, Bourbon Neophyte, thanks for being in. We're stealing a lot of bourbon cocktails, and we're gonna Scotchify them tonight, and see. On the mint julep, you could also add some fizzy water, some club soda or tonic water or something like that too. You could definitely do that, uh, just to kind of pull it out. But again, mint juleps are meant to be very boozy, very minty, and just mass all that in. Just shake with some ice, get it cold, 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 and then pour it over crushed ice, and it's so very tasty. Oh, so very good. Yeah. So that one. Okay. I really do want to know if y'all are going to try any of these. Very cool. Last at the Orchard House. So there's also a cocktail called a whiskey mash. So mash is kind of a, I don't know, flair term for muddle, mushing up a bunch of different things and different ingredients. So this one is on the sweeter side. And we do want to pay some homage to our friends up in Speyside. And so this is the Speyside Smash. So this smash is Naked Malt. So it is our friend here, Naked Malt, which is just a hella great value. It's a blended malt and very short sherry forward. So it's already sweet. If you want it sweeter, you can throw some triple sec in there. Also gives that little bit of orange liqueur flair, so a little bit of acid taste with the sweet of the sherry based whiskey. And then muddled peaches. So a ripe peach, not cold, just a brand new ripe peach, cut it up, mush it all in there with the naked, I keep saying naked malt, a little bit of triple sec. If you wanted it super sweet, you could put some simple syrup, but I really think there's enough there. And then I would put lime juice, a little bit of acid to counterbalance all of that sweetness. and then have some lime wedges for a garnish. But again, you're going to muddle all that fruit, get it in there really good with the alcohol, and shake, 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 and then pour that over ice, crushed ice. And so you've got this fruity, peachy taste that's gonna really marry well with the heartiness of the sherry, but not be too overbearing, because it's got so much more lightness to it. Again, add fizzy water to this if it's too thick, if it's too boozy for you. That's for sure. um, right. Martin says he can't do cocktails, but heading home in a few weeks, and then the bro-in-law will try some. Okay, yeah, put him to work. Making off. It's always making the off. You don't have to ask him what he would do for a summer whiskey cocktail. That sounds really cool. Yeah. Michael says he's explored and figured out that drinking bourbon is just about every Scotch that even enjoy more. Bourbon always seems too thin to me, and it's always it's a personal preference, right? So I would say that, Michael, the bourbon that you aren't drinking is just going to find its way to someone who loves it more, and that's okay, because odds are whatever they would have had in Scotch that they don't like, you hopefully you're gaining that part of it for sure. That's awesome. Okay. I would bet, yeah, recommend a few that you might like. Oh, good. See, that's what I love about our community, is that we can all talk amongst ourselves and help each other out when you're trying to find out something good. Because we all only have our own lens of things. Like I can't help you out with bourbon, but I can tell you 5 people that can, and probably Martin's one of them. So that's the beauty of it. With a community, you can talk and find out what other people's experience is with something, and it just saves you so much time in the long run, for sure. Awesome. So I got one more cocktail that we'll put together, and this one is probably the easiest of them all. And it was pretty warm when Mark and I were on Machir Bay about 2 weeks ago. But that would just be a Machir Bay Highball. I can't tell you how many of these I've made at the camp. Y'all get hot at the camp. Mark was there this week, caught a 22-pound catfish, I think. It was a monster. And which was crazy because it's usually the fishing's not very good when it's so hot, but he got a big one. But yeah, this one is perfect. Just, Machir Bay and some club soda or lemon lime soda. And for that matter, my lovely assistant, Ark Rayner, came in here a few minutes ago and brought me some of my stuff. So I have one of my favorite glasses. This is a designer here in Louisiana called Mignon Faget, and just she makes great little highball glasses based in Louisiana. This is our fleur de lis, not necessarily the Boy Scout symbol, but yes, a fleur de lis. And then our ice maker makes big, pretty chunky ice. I'm trying not to drip on my keyboard. So I'm just going to make myself a cocktail. Lots of ice. And yeah. One onto there. And then let's see. So like before I said, you could use a tonic water or ginger ale or something like that. I'm trying to remember why I got this one. But I'm actually going to use this Compass Box Orchard House. There we go. And I'm going to pour a little bit of this in here, which is kind of crazy. Not too much. Enough. I'm not going to make it too boozy tonight. And then I love these things, sparkling beverages. They come in a million different versions. This is from Trader Joe's, and it's a pomegranate punch, and it's not too many calories. It's not too sugar ridden, but with the fruitiness and lightness of this Comps Box Orchard House. And then, so I've got that in my ice. Just so you can see, it's already melting. And then I'm going to pour this over the top. And can you hear the fizz? It's fizzy. And I'm going to take one of my stirs, give it a little go, because I'm parched. And then I have straw, paper. We'll see how long it lasts. Interesting. I can still taste that little bit of Kalila. That is hilarious. I don't think I like the paper straw, though. I don't know about that. So this is truly punchy. Punchy. I probably would go more with a citrus on this to counterbalance the sweetness from the Orchard House. But man, it's pretty. Isn't it pretty? I just love these glasses. And it's refreshing because I was getting warm. Yeah. So tell me, any other cocktails that you all like to make with whiskey, or even other spirits? Do you all turn to other spirits during the summer and say, okay, it's summertime, it's time to get our tequila on, we're going into margarita mode? That's really something to see, because I mean, it is a lot of fun. I think I kind of was a vodka orange juice person before I got into whiskey. So really didn't deviate from that. Maybe I would have, a margarita with someone, or I kind of did go through a cocktail phase, but it didn't last long because it was a lot of work to do cocktails. It really is. Okay. Oh, I love it. Yay. Yeah, lemon lime and some Machir Bay. Oof. Yeah. Cuz it's not you're not going to get hit over the head with peat with that, right? So I think that's going to be a nice one. And yes, that Kalila absolutely, Rob, comes through. There's no denying Kalila. It will be seen in whatever it is in. That's for sure. Hey, David, great to see you. And yeah, a G&T, a gin and tonic. Interesting. And let me know what kind of gins that you all particularly like. When I was so at Holyrood in Edinburgh, they're making gin. And then Isle of Rasay that we went to, they make a really nice gin. I've never been a big gin person, and probably that's because I didn't have good gin. So it always gave me a headache, like right in the front of my head. But when we are in New Orleans and we go to the hotel, the Roosevelt Hotel, and go to the Sazerac bar, I invariably have to have a Ramos Gin Fizz, which is, it's an ordeal. They make them by hand. They make them with the real egg whites. They just beat the ever living hell out of that shaker to where it's a big thick foam with that gin drink, and it is just absolutely fabulous, especially when it's hotter than hell, which it awfully is down there, as you know. So yeah, David and Rob too, more gin and tonics. I love it. I'm guessing with a twist of lime, right? And you had ranch water today. You have to tell me what ranch water is, Kevin. Um, oh goodness, yeah, the botanist. Oh, that's lovely gin. Absolutely lovely gin, Rob. Absolutely. Um, so Michael went out, used to drink gin, went all out in the 80s. Tom Collins, Jack and Coke, and Miller Genuine Drafts. Miller Ponies, I'm guessing, right? My, my nana, my grandma, my dad's mom used to drink Miller Ponies. Very cool. Andrew, I didn't see that. That's interesting though. It's good to know the Thompson brothers, their Dornoch Castle, Dornoch distillery. They've got a good line of gin going as well. And it's cool because Holyrood was talking about their gin and really just use juniper um, and some other things, but they use beeswax in their potpourri of uh, different types of botanicals, and it lends itself to that kind of mouthfeel viscosity of the gin, which I thought was beautiful. And salt, juniper, salt, and beeswax. Very interesting. David also says the Malfa blood orange gin. Malfi, not Malfa. I was thinking Texas Malfa. Malfi. Interesting. Yeah. Botanist does good stuff. And I know there's a couple of different types of gin, like a sweeter one, a drier one, but um yeah, it's a light spirit, right? So it just lends itself well for a summertime for sure. Mm. Some of the other things you can do, kind of like this cocktail where you're just kind of doing a one-to-one type thing. One of my buddies, Austin, the kid, as we call him here in Baton Rouge. He's uh he was getting into Scotch and he made a Smokey Coke is what he called it. And it was basically Lafroig and Coke. And I was like, what are you doing mixing Lafroig and Coke? He enjoyed it. He loved it. Knock yourself out. Any type of cola with a peated whiskey. Again, you're getting that sweet and smoky thing together. A spiked iced tea. I'm not gonna lie. One day, I was going through a grocery store, and you know how they have the samples and things like that. And there was a person out there that was they were showcasing then the brand new Crown Royal peach. And would you like a sample? And I was like, sure, I'll have a sample. And I had a sample of the Crown peach, and it was very peachy. And all I could think of, that in iced tea on a hot ass summer day would be divine. So you could have a Canadian cousin, a peach iced tea. You never know. That would be another one. But yeah, and then any kind of spritz, any kind of, effervescent, whatever, in your favorite whiskey. Maybe not the really expensive ones, but whatever floats your boat. Mm. That's the way you want to go. Hey, Whiskey Nose, good to see you here. So whenever you go out with your dad, you occasionally order a Rob Roy Yum, which from his description is the kind of like an old fashioned with Scotch instead of bourbon. Kind of, sort of, yeah. It's got some of the same elements in it. You bet. And yeah, I mean, even a Manhattan can go towards. It depends on who's making your old fashioned, because some folks kind of do some different things. A mezcal margarita or your wife's summertown drink. Wow, talk about the smoky and yum yum yum. Wow. So there's a really great channel called Buzz Mezcal. If you haven't checked out his channel about mezcal, it's super. I'll make sure I put it in the link, Rob. So if she wants to know, or you want to know, anybody wants to know more about mezcal, Sky has got it on, is doing a great content on it. Yeah, awesome. So Kevin, thank you very much. I forgot. I lived in Texas for 14 years. You would think I would remember what ranch water is. Blanco tequila, lime for the juice. Yeah. And Topo Chico. Again, it's, a fizzy, right? With the Topo Chico water, and yes, to a Smoky Cokey. Hey, no judgment. No judgment at all. That's for sure. Oh goodness. Mm, this is really pretty tasty, I gotta tell you. Mm. So, um, let's talk about the future. I mean, I think we're set on our summer cocktails. Come back in the comments or always DM me. Y'all know scotchonthebayou@gmail.com. Feel free always to send me emails. And let me know if you tried any of these, what hit and what missed. That's okay. I'm all good with that. Or any other suggestions for summer cocktails, because I think that would be fun to post some of these out on social media and just see if we can get through the summer um, with whiskey and slightly cooler than we are, because it is stupid hot right now. Um, Speaking of, so no show next week because it's Independence Day, 4th of July, and we're all going to be looking. Andrew, you can sleep. We're going to be celebrating with fireworks and all that kind of fun stuff. No, it's going to be real calm around here because of the dogs. We don't do the firework thing, but yeah. So no show next week. Back on the 11th. But I do kind of want to poll y'all, because I was thinking about taking a little bit of time off on from the live shows every Tuesday night, trying y'all. We Between Mark and I, we have over 2,700 files of video and photos from Scotland. And I know everybody's busy in the summer and people are on vacation and it's a lot. So we may just take a little time off from the lives, maybe do one on a Sunday, or maybe an odd one here and there. But maybe take those off until late summer, early fall, just so Mark and I can like really attack all of this content, because this fall we really want to make sure we're putting out produced videos, um, camp drams, all of those things, and using what we were able to gather in Scotland for great distillery spotlights. And some of those, what I want to do is be able to, um, have the video and then maybe even do an interview live with some of those folks that we were able to meet. Some of that will maybe not be able to happen on a Tuesday night, given the time difference. Because I don't know, unlike Andrew, they're probably not going to get up at 2 a.m. in the morning, but we might could throw in some Sunday afternoon fun stuff, and you can always catch replays too. But yeah, we made so many great contacts over there and gathered so much fabulous content that we want to just lean hard into getting that produced out for everybody and give everybody a little time off. There's some things here in the studio I want to change around, kind of freshen some stuff up. So let me know what you think about that. And but we're going to stay connected for sure. Absolutely. No worries about that. Um, yes, Martin, the Texan that he is, says yes, ranch water is good. Use Topo Chico for the best results. Absolutely. Um, Michael says you used to get an electric iced teas. Don't know what was in them, but you could drink them one or two of them, and when you went out and the night would be cut very short. Sounds pretty potent there, friend. Pretty potent. Um, mm-mm-mm. Oh goodness. Well, I hope y'all have had fun with this. This was good. I was trying to think, because I would imagine y'all are pretty tired of me talking about Scotland for right now. I hate that if you are, because there's going to be a lot more about Scotland coming up. But um, it's hot. Please be careful out there. It is so dangerous. Just especially if you are drinking, be very careful with yourself. Um, know that your limits, and know that air conditioning is your friend. Um, Martin says he'll never get tired of talking about Scotland. Okay, I do appreciate that. Um, but yeah, it is very it's very hot, and especially animals, be and older folks, be careful of them. Make sure those folks check on your people, that type of thing. Um, I a dear friend, John McShane from SMWS, the global world ambassador of SMWS, is currently on a southern US tour with his wife, and they're in Memphis right now. If you follow him on Instagram, you know. And he's making his way down here, and I'm just so apologetic for the heat because I'm afraid he's just going to melt. It's just, welcome to the surface of the sun. But guys, yeah, stay cool. Thanks so much for all the support, and we will see you in 2 weeks. Happy 4th of July. And yes, by the way, purple and gold lights. Congratulations to my LSU Tigers, the men's world champions of College World Series champions last night. Go Tigers. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Cheers.